We had the biggest month ever in January. We did, what are the elements, the inputs to get the output? And I think it's the book is a big one. And I really didn't mean for it to be such a big driver. The YouTube is the second thing. And the model that we operate and recurring high ticket is another one. So those things have got us to where we are without a doubt. One thing that's always worked well for me in like my last business, in this business, and kind of my life in general, has been looking at what everybody else is doing and trying my hardest to do the opposite.
Okay, so life in Dubai.
Life in Dubai.
Yeah.
Well, first and foremost, next time you steal my fashion sense, make sure you tell me in advance, okay? Well,
We planned this out. I text Will this morning saying, what colour t-shirt we're wearing today?
but dude, life in Dubai, I think it's awesome.
You love Dubai, yeah?
I do love Dubai. I'm being tempted by other places. Like I went to, have you been to Thailand yet?
No. Nor Bali.
It's a very relaxing, and Dubai is a very heavy, focused, do the work, don't stop kind of energy, which is a bloody great thing if you're trying to build and grow.
Yeah, that's what we were saying last night when we were in the restaurant. We were saying like everyone has their, for your place is Bali, Thailand. Mine is, let's say Marbella for me, where you come to Dubai, you spend 3 or 4 months, and then you need a break. And that break is, for me, in Spain, for you, and Arslan was saying everyone kind of has that break where they have spent a couple months in Dubai.
Yeah.
Busy, growth, work, meeting new people, whatever the case may be. Then just go to chill.
Yeah.
So that's your Bali / Thailand, or where you're even testing out.
Yeah, I think Bali, so Thailand is great and it's very relaxing. I can kind of switch off there and really chill.
Yeah.
Bali is like Thailand, but with more entrepreneurs, a bit more traffic, a bit more energy, a bit more going on.
Yeah.
So, you know, like I was saying yesterday, we're going out to view a villa on Thursday, and then if we like it, we'll buy that, and that'll be
You need to get that villa, by the way. It's beautiful.
the home. Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? So that'll be where it'll be 6 months of Dubai for working and grinding and going hard, and then maybe 6 months or so of just slowing down the pace a bit, having a refresh, adjusting the energy. It's you need the balance, you know, but between the seasons.
Yeah. So when you're in Dubai, it's very routine based. It's very focused. It's very building. It's very project based. It's just tackling priority lists day to day. How are you splitting your day? Like obviously you've gotten to where you are today. What has been like a compounding effect that you've done every day to like really get there?
You know what? It's funny, man. I mean, my routine here is pretty much wake up, get on the treadmill desk in the office, but usually 1 to 2 hours, go to the gym for an hour, come home, get a shower, get a coffee, and then I'm either doing coaching calls or I'm making YouTube videos or going out and kind of meeting people and doing podcasts and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's always the same. Wake up about 8, 9, straight on the treadmill desk for 1, 2 hours, straight to the gym, and then the kind of rest of the day.
Yeah.
But one thing that's funny is I went to Bali I think it was August.
Yeah.
And I was like, right, let me chill out, switch off. I went to a mastermind out there.
Yeah.
And we had our biggest month ever. Like,
You were telling me that last night. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think the guys were saying it's like that surrender effect.
the surrender
Which
effect.
kind of does make sense. When you push for so long and then just let go, then the next thing comes.
It's always in the letting go, man. Like we had the biggest month ever in January. We did 580,200 cash collected, just above $500,000 profit.
He showed me, by the way. It's real. It's not one of these. No, it's not clickbait.
It's not clickbait. But we didn't plan it. You know, we went like, right, in January, we're going to go hard. We're going to have the biggest month ever. We're going to do this. Yeah. It was just like, let's just do what we know needs to be done and kind of let it happen. And then it happened. So it is the surrender effect.
Yeah. So what do you feel has like helped you compound everything day to day? What's some tasks in your day that are like, oh, if I didn't do that every day for the last couple of years, the next thing would not have happened. Anything that comes to mind?
YouTube,
yeah.
Yeah.
Personal brand.
I would say
Your YouTube is really good, man.
I appreciate that. I think I was thinking about this recently, like what are the elements that result in the outcome? What are like the inputs to get the output? And I think it's the book is a big one. And I really didn't mean for it to be such a big driver, but the book is one.
Yeah.
The YouTube is the second thing for sure. And the model that we operate as well, the whole one-to-one, done for you, because most people don't do that.
Yeah.
And recurring high ticket is another one. So those things have got us to where we are, without a doubt.
Yeah. Okay. So your YouTube is a big lever that you pull week by week. But how do you plan your, because your YouTube is just so simple, but so to the point. But it's really good because you're just like, there's no hype, there's no like, you're not flying around a Lamborghini all day.
Hey.
You're just on the whiteboard giving really actionable advice. How are you like planning? Are you like, do a system that you're looking to say, oh, the viewer on the other end really wants to learn this thing? How do you kind of create the ideas, and how do you maneuver your YouTube as a whole? No, maybe not YouTube, maybe your whole brand, because it's powerful. Like I see videos online right now saying, I learned this one 7-figure hack from William Brown. So other people are taking your knowledge and putting it to place. And you've helped me massively over the last, since I launched my latest business. You've definitely helped me massively over that. Like a lot of things you said have dialed in things at a massively compounding level for me. So how are you managing that? How are you creating that? How are you getting that message out that you want to get out?
Yeah, I appreciate the kind words, man. That's kind of you to say that.
Of course.
Well, I like to test things. So when I first started the channel, one thing that's always worked well for me in like my last business, in this business, and kind of my life in general, has been looking at what everybody else is doing and trying my hardest to do the opposite.
Yeah.
As weird as that sounds. So when I started the channel originally, everybody was making like Iman style, podcast studio style.
Yeah, we were just talking about that.
Super edited, B-roll, planned, scripted. And I just thought, what would happen if I just talked to the camera and I didn't even edit? I didn't plan, I didn't script, and I didn't plan a title, and I didn't do a thumbnail. I just thought, like, what would happen? So I tested it, and it worked really well. I think the first time I tested it was the day I sold my company, right? I got the wire at something like 3:30 p.m. and it was still sunny, and I thought, man, if I don't make a video right now, I'm gonna like have to pretend tomorrow that I got the wire today. I thought, man, I need to do a video right now. So I ordered a coffee from Arabica on JBR. I gave myself like 20 minutes to just think about what I would say. I sat in the office, pressed record with my coffee in my hand. I was like, I've just sold my company. I just got the one, just talked about it and just uploaded it straight away. That was my first ever video to get like over 100K views. And that kicked everything off. I had massive entrepreneurs reaching out to me, like massive names.
Everyone was talking about that around the white to short. Will Brown's just all in this business. How did that even come together? Like what was that? How did that happen? Because that's a huge achievement.
Well, the way it happened, right? God, this was years ago. It's probably about 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. I was at a mastermind in England with a guy called Dan Bradbury.
Okay.
And we were having lunch, just like this. I was sat here, Dan was sat there, his assistant was sat there, some other guy was next to me. And we were having some dinner in like the cafeteria. And Dan literally said to me, so dude, when are you going to sell your business?
Oh, really?
And I was like, I can't sell it. It's a coaching business. It's like named after me and I'm the face of it and stuff, so I can't sell it. He was like, yeah, you can. Of course you can sell a thing. It's just, the only difference is the buyer and the price. So he was like, if it's not the best business and it's pretty small and there's loads of key man risk in it and so on and so forth, you can still sell it, but for a much less price to probably not the best buyer.
Okay.
And he said, if you structure it for sale and you do it properly, you remove yourself, the product is very good, you've got a stable long-term team, good P&L, reliable profits, you can sell it to a better buyer for a better price. And he planted the seed that day. And I went away from that. I remember I was driving home. I was thinking,
in the UK at the time.
In the UK at the time, his mastermind was down south and I used to drive down from Manchester and then drive back up. And I remember driving back up thinking, all right, I can sell it. When can I sell it? How can I sell it? Who would I sell to? And he just planted the seed. I didn't really take any action at the time because I was still building the business, right? But then I started reading books on how to sell and books from people who had exited and just slowly learning. And then in 2023, I'd grown it to about 600K a month, so something like that back then. And I started to think, what's next? And I'd kind of made the money that I wanted to make and bought the real estate I wanted to buy. And I was sat in Address Cafe one day, writing in my journal. And I was thinking, do I want to still be running this business in a few years? I was like, no. So like, do I need more from it? And I was like, no. And I thought, and it's the best that it's ever been. So if I'm going to sell it, I should probably sell it now when the trajectory is just like that.
Yeah.
I remember the stripe graph was just like a bit up, bit up, just like the sickest progress ever. I thought, I'm going to try and sell it. So I WhatsApped Dan there and then. I was like, Dan, please can you help me to sell? I'm ready to sell it. I started paying his monthly retainer. And he helped me to really prepare it for sale in the end, start taking it out to potential buyers. He introduced me to my M&A advisor, Dominic Sullivan.
Yeah.
Dominic helped me build what's called an IM, like an investor memorandum. It's like a sales document for the business. Dominic then took it out to his book of buyers. And then we had a venture capital firm that were interested, but it fell through after 2 months. Then we had a private equity firm who were interested. And then 7 months later, they bought it off me for a few million.
Mad.
So it was good.
So what was the time frame from the seed planted to the exit?
Probably 20, 21, 22, 23. It's probably about 4 years between the lunch with Dan and then maybe starting to sell it. Because I remember it was November 2023
When you sold.
when we started the sale process.
Okay.
I think it was November when, or it was just before we moved it into this building, somewhere around that, where I WhatsApped Dan. Yeah. And then it took us until the next September. It was September 30th, it was September 30th, 2023 that we sold. So it will have been 2022 when we started the sale process.
Okay, so a long time.
It took a long time. It took almost a year to sell.
Whoa. Okay.
Long time.
So a lot of due diligence, but a lot of efforts went in for you to structure the company for an exit.
Oh yeah.
So you had to build a business to sell. Did you ever read that book, actually, Built to Sell?
Yeah, I've been on his podcast.
Oh, have you? Yeah.
John Marillow's
One of the
podcast,
first books I ever read like 5 years ago. Amazing. Maybe 7, 8 years. Amazing book. Really, really good book.
Yeah.
So what are some key steps that, because I would imagine those steps that you made to get this business ready for exit were standing to your education business now.
Yeah.
Those pillars that the foundation that you built for the exit would essentially be super valuable in the new business that you have right now. So what were some steps that you made in regards to in preparation?
Well, I learned a lot from the due diligence process because the PE firm that bought us, right, there were two partners, the founder, Carl, and his partner, Josh. And Carl went through our product end to end. Joshua went through the product end to end. They were interviewing the whole team. Yeah. They were interviewing customers. Yeah. They were just fishing around online. Yeah. They went through all our P&Ls, all our books, rebuilt the financials at one stage as well. Amazing. Just to double check everything. Yeah. Loads of bloody calls with me, with my sales manager. It was a lot of calls, a lot of emails, a lot of chats back and forth. And I just learned from that. If we would have had a shit product, they would have found out quickly and not bought the business. If we had unhappy customers, they would have found out quickly and not bought the business. If our P&Ls were fucked, or we were lying about costs and stuff, they would have found out and not bought the business. So DD was like a sanity check for them and a fact check for me as well. And that's part of the reason why I wanted to sell. Because I thought, if I can sell for multi-7 figures to a PE firm, really, it's like proof to myself that I built something great. Because you can't sell a shit business to PE.
Which makes sense, So the foundations that you built in regards to for the exit stood to you in your next business after, which is your current business that's doing $500,000 plus a month. What are some transitions that you brought from the first business over to the second business that just served you from day one?
The importance of organic and brand and trust.
Okay.
I was actually thinking about this morning. I was having a coffee and writing in my journal and thinking about what am I going to do next? And I was looking at the data from cold ads and I was looking at the data from organic. And I was like, fuck, man. Organic is the one. The close rate is way higher. The reps is just so much bloody easier. The trust is way higher. It's a one cold close, like pretty much all the bloody time. Good. They don't object. They don't argue on price. Whereas some cold ads, way longer sales cycle. 2-3 cold close, way lower close rate.
Very true.
I was like, let's do less of this and let's do more of this. And my last business, right, was like
There's all ads, right?
90% paid ads.
Yeah.
And 10% organic.
Yeah.
This one is 90% organic and 10% paid ads.
Very
Then the profit margin, I mean, that profit margin when we exited was about 34%-ish. Our margin now, depending on the month, is about 87%. It can be a bit higher now because we've stopped doing, we've left payment processors. We only do wires. So we've got that 4% back as well.
Okay.
Now, so if the margin was say 86, well, now it's 90.
What made you make that decision of no payment processors?
The fees.
The fee.
Because, dude, when I got the P&L for January and I saw the payment I was like, dude, I'm losing, I can't remember the number was. It was like, say, 40 grand.
Yeah, it's
I was like,
full team.
I would like that 40 grand. So I was like, I think I'm going to take that back.
Yeah. Well, I don't have that big of a problem just yet, Will, but I hope my payment processor fees get that high someday. But yeah, man, that's really inspiring. So everything in your new business, like, it just took off, man.
Just because of YouTube.
It just took off. Like, it just took off. Like, everything that you're showcasing, it's obviously valuable. The results that you have in your book and the infinite testimonies that you have. What's some key things that you see people doing in their business today that's winning, and what do you see people doing right and wrong?
Yeah. Oh, dude, that's such a good question. Well, I've got a client at the moment. He's like a famous YouTuber called Jordan Welch, right? And when he came on board as a client a couple of months ago, he was like, right, I don't want to do sales calls. So what should I do? And most people don't say that. But I said to him, okay, well, let's test. Send people to a VSL and then send people into an application.
Yeah.
And then they can apply to work with you. And then at the end, it says like, right, thank you for your application. I will reach out to you if I think you're a good fit. And that is working really well. And I wasn't sure how well that would work, but it's bloody crushing for him. So he doesn't, he's not booked out sales call wise. He just goes through his applications, picks the best fits, usually WhatsApps them, may have a call with them, and they'll come into his program. So that's working really well. Organic YouTube is just, it's the best thing in the bloody world. And setting on Instagram almost doubled our call volume.
Yeah, you've told me that.
As well. So that little, and I was against that for so long. I was against that for like a year.
You have some unique systems that you have in play right now.
We do. And honestly, I poached a setter off Charlie Morgan, right. And he brought Charlie's systems into my business. Okay. It was the best thing ever. I didn't even have to ramp him. I didn't even have to train him. He was like, this is what we're doing. It's working well. Let's just do it. And I was like, do it. And it was just crushed immediately. So thanks to that guy for coming on board, because he's been a player to say the least. So he was the one that taught me that setting strategy.
Yeah.
Really? That's when you know you've got good team members. Yeah. When they bring you.
And they bring you value, yeah.
So much value.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was amazing. One thing that's not working well so much anymore is paid ads. It's getting harder, slower.
Yeah. It's more like a whole, well, it costs a lot to get a really good qualified call to show up. Booked and shown, definitely costs a lot. But also it's the length of the funnel. It's the length of the funnel. It's like people are giving away just like a lot of free stuff right now. And in the sales processes, obviously has teams of setters and warm-up process to get people booked in. Like, the funnel is quite big. So you're spending money on ads now. You're not recouping the sale for weeks down the line. Yeah. Whereas organic, they're kind of like, they know, like, and trust you. Yeah. They're just kind of ready to book in. When they spend time consuming your content. So you have a relationship. You've given them value. So the trust is there. So, and that's where you think your content is really good, because it's just valuable. Like, it's actually like, I would imagine if you combined all your content together, you could create a mini course from that.
Yeah, it's kind of, in a way, the YouTube kind of is, it's like a free mini course in a way that you can kind of watch, and it gives you all the little nuggets and stuff like that. Yeah. So yeah, organic is very powerful, man. Brand is very powerful. Yeah. I like, so I had lunch with Matt Gray a few weeks ago, and man, when I found out he wasn't running ads, I was like, wow, his numbers without ads is amazing. But his ad spend, he's spending on the organic. Yeah. So it's a similar thing.
Similar thing, yeah. But I think E-Man was telling us a few weeks ago that when you run the ads, you turn off the ads, they're gone. When you spend that money on content, it's always there. Yeah. He has a big team that goes back and flips the thumbnails around every however long, but like, it's always there. It's where you run the ads, turn off the ads, and they're gone. But then when you have content in place, it's there forever. It's more evergreen.
You know what? I remember when Sam Ovens, there was a point where Sam really switched his model.
Yeah.
And he started to say, he made a new VSL and he was like, right, the new model is turn your ads off.
Yeah.
Go all in on YouTube Organic.
Yeah.
Have a newsletter, send 3 emails a week.
Yeah.
And that, is this whole move away from paid ads and massive scale and stuff.
Yeah.
And Sam said something that I'd never heard before. He said, YouTube is the only platform where you put some content out and it gets views forever.
Yeah.
Like no other platform has that.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that's so true.
Mm-hmm.
It's like free traffic forever. I mean, not forever, but
Because again, if I stumble across one of your newer videos and I say, oh, this is a great piece of content from Will, your next video will bring me some more value in the search tab.
Yeah.
So I'll say, no, I could have spent, let's say 2 videos are 20 minutes. I just consumed 40 minutes of your content.
Yeah.
The know, like, and trust factor is just up here. And I'm just interested in learning more. And that's obviously where your current clients are getting a lot of value because they're booking in from seeing the value that you put out, which is good. So Sam Ovens, you do mention him quite a bit. He was a mentor of yours for a while, right?
Yeah, he was. I was in his mastermind. I remember I joined it when I still lived in Manchester. I think in the 3rd year of my last company when we went from like $250,000 cash year 2 to about 1.3 million year 3. And it was that year that I joined his mastermind.
Yeah.
And then I met like James in there. I met Iman in there. I met like Stefan in there, all these great entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And then James moved to Dubai. And then I was really inspired by that. So I moved to Dubai, which is really down to James. So big up James for that. And my whole Dubai network was just people from Sam's Quantum Mastermind when I first moved here.
Amazing.
So we were all on the same mission.
Yeah, that's really good. That's the big that's a big like a big outer layer of value that you get from these masterminds. Like where do you think you'd be if you never? Because I think someone did a video. I think it was what was it? You said, imagine if you never bought Alex Becker's program years ago.
God.
And you didn't even have the money to buy it. Where would you be today if you didn't buy that?
My God, dude.
Because you're going to kill me for saying this. You'd be still DJing.
Maybe.
Well, we were having dinner a few weeks ago and you told me about your DJ. I thought it was a joke.
No, it's not a joke. It's not.
Wouldn't think, because you're really disciplined. Like, you're in bed you left early last night to go to bed at like 9 p.m, right?
Yeah.
I can't imagine you being a DJ.
It was crazy.
You were touring Asia. You were touring eastern part of the world doing gigs.
Dude, I've DJ'd in over 45 countries. It's crazy.
I can't imagine it.
Yeah, good times.
Were you different Russian back then?
Hungover times. That's damn right. That's damn for sure. But
were you a different person though?
Oh yeah.
Really? Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude.
Were you just short terms and you didn't have guidance and like what in the back of your mind was it like I'm a DJ forever? Like that's your, was that, or was it like this is just a cool pathway in life and something else is going to come?
I'll tell you. So when I was young and I got into music, I wasn't thinking about money. I wasn't thinking about being rich. I wasn't thinking about wealth. I wasn't thinking about investment.
Okay.
I only knew 2 things. Music is immensely fun and fulfilling. And if I work immensely hard, I could make about 3 or 4K a month on average. Some months would be more, some months would be 0. And that was the first thing that I knew. The second thing that I knew was I understood real estate. And I thought, if I can save up and buy a little house and rent it out, that's an extra $600 a month.
Yeah.
If I do that a few times, I'll have a bit of a financial bedrock and then I can do music for fun. That was my first ever freedom plan. Work like a workhorse, live like a pauper, save up and buy a few houses, rent them out and do music for fun. Right, that's my first ever thing.
How long ago was that, by the way?
I started DJing internationally when I was about 20.
Whoa.
And I did it until I was about 26.
That's
right. 6 years. It was good fun.
Okay. So did you ever have a 9 to 5?
I did. I did. Yeah. So when I finished university, they offered me, I can't think of the word, like a internship.
Yeah. So right. Yeah, I was just going to.
And I used to work 4 days a week doing admin for a university in the north of England.
Okay.
It was only 6-7 hour days, and it paid me like £800 a month. It was, but anyway, so I was using that money plus the music money to make up that 3-4K a month that I was making on average. It was a bit from the part-time job and a bit from the DJing, and the part-time job really helped on the slow music months. And I had that for 1.5 years. And then when I started doing better music-wise, I quit that job. And then I remember at one stage, music was really quiet, and I got another job delivering leaflets door to door. And they would give me a box of leaflets and be like, right, drive to this city.
I've done that before as well.
Go down these streets and just put them in every letterbox. And they would give me £60 cash per day, which I was pretty fucking happy with.
Me too. I used to do that. I think I got like €40 a day back in the day. But yeah, I done that. That's really tough work.
Dude, it really grounded me, that job, man. I was like, this is not good.
Yeah.
This is not nice.
Yeah. No. I done the same thing. That was like good lessons looking back. No, but just dark times, man. Like really hard times.
It makes you grateful.
Yeah.
When you have a 20K day, it makes you fucking grateful. But anyway, so I was doing the music, and then the way that the next thing happened was, well, two things, right? I got home from a show one night, and there was a trading documentary on TV.
Okay.
And I watched this documentary for an hour, very glamorized, no relatives of trading, but I opened a trading account, put £500 in, grew it up to about, I can't remember, 7, 8, 9K over a few months, wiped almost all of it in a day, took the little bit that I had left out, and I bought a course from a guy called Chris, a kind of a mentorship with a professional trader called Tom. That made me profitable. I started trading semi-full-time. And then that was the start of the education business. And I started teaching trading, and that was the last company.
So you help people trade profitably?
More or less, yeah. And I remember I was still DJing as well. And I remember I was doing a show in London one night, and I distinctly remember the hotel room. And I was sat on the laptop a couple of hours before the show, and I saw an ad from Alex Becker. All about, he was like, oh, if you sell courses and coaching, there's a better way to do it. You can use YouTube ads. And I booked a call. And then a couple of days later, I took the call from my parents' kitchen table, and I bought the program. And it was like, I think it was $8,000, if I remember correctly.
Was that a lot back then?
It was a lot. It was a massive, that was like 3 months, 4 months of money gone, And I remember going upstairs to get my Amex and paying it in full. And that decision made me $4, $5, $6, $7 million.
Really good.
It was probably the number one best investment I've ever made.
How did you analyze that risk though at the time? Because at the time that was probably a lot of money. Most people don't do that. Most people do that over time. But like, and anyone in our group, for years we just invested. I still do every single day. But like, we always have invested, and then everyone who is doing well at something, it's always paid off. How did you analyze that in your mind to say, oh, this is risky for sure. I'm going to be potentially broke after I pay this. But how did you analyze that risk?
Honestly, dude, I just really believed Alex. I just really believed that Alex knew what he was doing with YouTube ads, knew what he was doing with these info businesses. I might have watched a few of his organic videos before this. Maybe that's why I got the ad. Yeah. But I just believed Alex, and I just thought, you know what? I think he could really blow up my business. And I'm pretty sure that will happen. So there you go. So I paid the 8, and that's exactly what happened, man. We just grew the business. So
it's got to work from there. So where do you think life would be if you didn't make that risk?
I don't want to think about it, man.
Would you still be DJing? Like, because the reason I'm asking it is because that happened with me with Ty Lopez. Like, I just bought his, I think it was $1,500 at the time. Yeah, bought his, and I remember having my finger on the button, like, because that was all. I got fired, and my last paycheck was $1,900. So I was like, I don't got any money after this. Damn. And I was outside the gym, and I had my finger on the button to just process it on the card, and everything in my body was screaming. My own mother was telling me not to do it. I just pressed the button because I just had something in the back of my mind to just believe. Did you get that feeling at that time?
I did.
Yeah?
I did. Yeah, I just thought, I think that this will work. There's always the question, will it work? You never really know.
Yeah.
That's the truth. You never really know. but sometimes you just get a feeling and you're like, man, this guy that I'm listening to, he clearly knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
I maybe don't
Yeah.
know what I'm doing as much as I need to.
Yeah.
So let me just pay for the knowledge, get the knowledge.
Yeah.
And when it works, it can make you millions of dollars.
Yeah, amazing. And that's the key. Like, there is no other way. Like, that is the key. You have to
You've got to do it, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so true. So today you are changing, like, you're changing people's lives for the better. People who are starting and people who are, again, getting ahead. How does that feel? Because I feel like you actually, number one, love the process, but you also have a lot of purpose behind it too. Because you're like, sometimes you're like, oh yes, I got like 8 hours of calls today. Like, you can't wait, you can't wait for that. Most people are like, oh fuck's sake, you're like, yes, let's get more. Like, you love having a full day of calls.
Yeah.
How do you get into that place where you just love what you're doing? Like, how do you have that perspective?
Well, we were talking about this last night, weren't we?
Yeah.
Where sometimes I get off a coaching call feeling so much better than when I get on it.
Yeah.
And that, I think that's when you know you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
When the work makes you feel better and it gives you energy. But
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I just really like, because I just love this stuff. I just really love like funnels and ads and offers and making the money and investing the money and figuring it out. It's just a very fun game. And when you solve the game, you get loads of money.
Yeah.
So it's just like a really great game to play.
It's win-win.
And it's win-win. You get to build really great product. And I've always loved building things. I love like making music. Yeah. I loved doing graffiti when I was younger.
Telling me you found a graffiti place last week.
Yeah.
This is the most fun time we had in a while.
So good, man. And I used to like make a graffiti magazine, and I would take the pictures and write the copy and do the design. Yeah. So I just like building things and designing things and making products.
Yeah.
You know, and then I just love the calls. I think I actually wouldn't describe myself as a people person, but when I'm with people, I kind of come alive.
Yeah. Like-minded people.
Yeah, well, yeah, oh, dude, especially. And I can see it very clearly. This is why I like doing the masterminds, because someone comes with a problem.
Yeah.
They tell me, and I just know the answer.
Yeah.
Just do this, change this.
Yeah.
And I just love it. And it just makes me feel happy and excited and fulfilled and just great.
And that's just the key to life. I just connected dots in my mind there as you were speaking. Last year, when I was kind of unsure on direction last year, I came across Matt Gray, who's a friend, and he recommended the book Ikigai. And that book Ikigai is all about how to find that flow of loving what you're doing. Because I have that now as well, but I have it now. This time last year, I maybe didn't have that at 100, but I might have had it 50, 60%. So Matt Gray really actually helped me when he recommended that book last year. We'll talk about that book a lot. Have you read that?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you have that. You have that. You're doing what you love. It's purposeful. You're making an impact, and you're getting paid really well.
It wasn't always this way though.
Yeah.
You know, because in the music career, I loved it at the start and I hated it at the end.
Yeah.
And in my last business, I loved it at the start, and I wouldn't say hated, but I didn't want to do it anymore at the end.
Yeah.
So I think everything's got like a life cycle.
Yeah.
There's always, you know, things get old, things change.
Yeah.
Your attitude changes, what you love changes. Yeah. So it's interesting, man, how things change over time. And I always say, I love the one-to-one coaching right now, and I'll do it for as long as I love it. I hope that I keep loving it for a very long time. But if I don't, we'll see.
Something else will come.
Something else will come. Maybe I'll get back into graffiti.
I think it'll be real estate for you.
Who knows? Mate, I love real estate.
Yeah, I think that's your thing.
I love real estate, man.
Yeah, I think you'll do a lot more real estate. I think that'll be your next thing potentially.
Maybe.
But who's been some other mentors over the years outside of Sam Ovens?
So Alex Becker was the first, Sam Ovens was the second, Cole Gordon was the third. Technically, Dan Bradbury was actually my first ever mentor, first business mentor. He's still a very good friend today as well. So Dan, Alex, Sam, Cole, who else? I guess, I've got a mindset coach called Mark Dharma, who's kind of a bit of a mentor, you could say. He just kind of guides me. I just have a call with him every month, and he just keeps me on track, looks at my goals, makes sure that I'm going in the right direction, fact checks me. Now I've got 2 YouTube coaches. as well that are helping with like idea generation, hooks, titles, all this stuff. So
Amazing. So you've had a good few mentors along the journey.
loads, man,
Yeah.
loads.
Amazing. But the first one that had the massive impact to take massive action was Alex Becker. I think a lot of people would say either Alex or Sam.
I think so. Yeah, because they were just. I mean, they are like.
They're founders of just like
Yeah.
online space.
They're some of the biggest guys. You know, I mean, Sam did, I think, over 50 million in total from consulting.com before he sold it.
Yeah.
Alex was doing over $1 million a month, 2 million a month at his height. Cole Gordon's doing insane numbers, 2, 3, 4 million a month.
Yeah.
So they're just the biggest guys, you know. But I'm catching him up though.
You're catching up.
I'm catching him up.
Yeah. Because Sam's back doing some YouTube stuff now. I saw.
Is he?
Did I see a video of last week, or maybe someone's rehearsing some stuff? I'm not sure. But they're essentially like everyone has a connection back to these 2 or 3 people. Everyone today who's doing something, they're all connected back into one of these few people, and it all comes back to them, and they deserve it because they literally smashed it for years.
Yeah.
They really did. Tell us a little about the Masterminds. Your Masterminds are getting bigger and bigger.
The Mastermind is getting big now. Yeah, it's starting to freak me out how big it's getting, man. Well, I always wanted to do my own Mastermind because of how much value I've taken from Masterminds.
Yeah.
So I thought, wow, how cool would it be to do that for other people?
Yeah.
So my first one was 10 people, and I just wanted to test it out and just see what it's like. Do I enjoy it?
Yeah.
And I bloody loved it.
Yeah.
Then we did another with 20 people. Then we did another with 30 people. Now, in 3 weeks, we're doing another with 45 people here in Dubai. So it's getting bigger. We're running out of space in the conference rooms for the U-shaped tables as well. But it's so fun, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
They are
so
getting bigger guest speakers. More people.
Bigger speakers. Yeah. So last time we had a guy called Ravi. This time we've got Sabri Subi coming along, which should be fun.
Too big for massive names.
So it's fun, man. Yeah, it's fun.
What kind of value do you think people are getting from the Mastermind?
Clarity, direction, and problem solved. You know, because in every business, the business grows to a certain point, and then usually you get stuck there, and it's because you've got a bottleneck or bottlenecks, and people come to the Mastermind with those, and we solve them. And when you solve it, your business just goes bang.
Yeah.
You know, like for us in January, the reason we had such a big month because of one change, and it was allowing customers to pay up front for multiple months. That one change made us an extra 140K from that one change, and just that was the bottleneck.
Yeah.
Was allowing cash to come in.
Yeah.
And we relieved it and got an extra, almost crazy amount.
Yeah. But that's from your experience though. You have that from over the years. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just makes total sense. You remove the bottleneck and you just keep walking till you get to the next one.
It's just incredible.
Yeah, you've helped me overcome some bottlenecks of mine over the last 6 months, which has been super ROI for us as well.
Nice.
So what do you think like people are doing wrong? What people are doing wrong and people are doing right? What do you think people are like focusing on that they shouldn't be focusing on, and where should they put their attention? Let's just say someone is doing 500K to $1 million a year. Now they want to get to 2.5 to 5 million a year. What are people doing that's not correct in regards to breaking those bottlenecks and actually scaling?
That's a complex question. That's a big question, man. But
from your clients, what do you think that's some common trends that people are like missing the boat?
Yeah, I think focusing on paid instead of organic is a bit of a mistake. You know, not entirely, but I would just say, make sure you give most of your focus to organic.
Okay.
That's what I would say right now.
Okay.
It's a long-term play. You don't see the fruits of it straight away.
Yeah.
Right? But you do see the fruits of it in 6 months, 12 months, 24 months.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So focus more on organic than paid ads. Another thing that I see people doing wrong is just not understanding, right, that these businesses are basically this simple. Cost per acquisition.
Yeah.
Lifetime value.
LTV, yeah.
Right. And if you can get that as low as possible and that as high as possible, you can make all the bloody money that you want,
man.
right?
But it's crazy how no one looks at those either metrics.
Yeah.
People look at like ROI, people look at spend, like what's your customer acquisition cost and what's the LTV?
This
You
is,
get all the ROI in the middle is there when you get it right.
yeah, this is why I really like what Iman is doing right now. And I really respect what Iman is doing right now because he's turning the focus back to net profit. And this is something that I've been preaching now for the last year as well, is forget bloody revenue.
Yeah.
Just think about cash collected and net profit. And it's funny, when you focus on net profit, that's when you grow it. And we both know Chris, right? I remember, I'm pretty sure it was Chris, about a year and a half ago, I was talking to Chris about, I've got this spreadsheet where I track my net worth, all my real estate's on there, bank accounts are on there.
Yeah.
And I track my cash. And every 7 days I write down my cash,
Yeah.
right? And I taught that to Chris, gave him a copy of my spreadsheet. And he said in the preceding months, he's never made so much cash in his life because he was focused on cash. What you focus on grows.
Yeah.
What you don't focus on doesn't grow.
Yeah.
So where are you putting your focus right now?
Yeah. Yeah. You have to be able to track what you got. You have to be able, you can't manage what you don't track, which is a very valuable thing. And I have, I think you gave me the same one. I have one, I presume it's the same one. You did give that to me actually. Yeah. Which is very valuable. So you think that people need to track their client acquisition cost and make sure the LTV is as high as possible. What's some ways people can increase the LTV?
Well, this is one way that, I sound very big-headed saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I feel like I'm pioneering a new model right now of stretching LTV because before we did it, I've never seen anyone do recurring high ticket before. I never knew anyone that did recurring high ticket. I think we were the first ever to do it.
I don't know anyone else who does it.
Right? Yeah. So we've got our 3 programs, the group program, the one-to-one program, the done for you program. And it's recurring high ticket. And that stretches LTV bloody massively. You know, we had someone in the group program for 13 months.
Yeah.
That's an LTV.
Yeah.
I think the LTV was 90 grand from one customer. We've got a guy in the done for you program now who's just gone into his 5th month. That LTV is like 70K. When you can get your LTV this big, you could acquire customers for any cost.
You have huge room to scale.
Yeah.
You've huge room to scale when you have that. That's a huge thing. That's what we always preach in the agency world as well, is like you're so focused on acquisition of clients and not LTV.
It's for us, the focus is keeping clients.
Yeah.
You know, and we get clients that they'll come in, they'll go out, they'll buy the mastermind, they'll, come out, come into the program again, go out, buy the little Bali one-day mastermind, hire us to run their ads for them, which we can do now. So the LTV, if you zoom out, is a lot. And a guy that just bought a ticket to the Bali mastermind, he was in my one-to-one program for a month, then he went out, came to my mastermind, and now he's coming to the next mastermind.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's like relationship building.
Yeah, relationship, but you always you have the one-to-one approach. You've just mastered that one-to-one, whereas most people don't. It's always straight away with CSMs. The amount of time I bought something and it's like straight away to a CSM.
I fucking hate that.
That drives me mad.
Hate.
Honestly, it does. Because they sell super high ticket straight away to the CSM.
You don't even get the founder. What the fuck are you paying for?
No. And then the CSM is only trained on the system that you're learning. I think that's quite unethical. I really do think that's quite unethical.
I kind of agree. I mean, I know that's what you've kind of got to do to scale very, very, very far. But honestly, I'm more of a fan of one-to-one, but just charge more for the one-to-one.
Yeah.
And just give it to people.
But if someone like, for example, came into your program, done super well, and then they were super passionate about helping people the same, they can become a coach.
Yeah.
Whereas when someone who's starting from ground zero, they read your SOPs, they're not qualified to coach high ticket. They're qualified to maybe answer questions on Slack, have one-to-one accountability calls, but I don't think they should. I think your clients come to you because they speak to Will.
That's definitely the case. It's similar to sales calls, right? So the face of the business, the founder, always closes the highest. Yeah. That's just a fact, right? Yeah. And when you bring closers in, you've got to give back that 10, 15, 20% close rate. Like I used to close at 56%, and I've got the tracking sheet to prove that. Yeah. Right. My reps close at about 28, 29. Yeah. So I've had to give away that close rate margin.
But you're buying your time.
But obviously, you can't do sales calls. Sales calls are just not a productive use of time.
No. They're exhausted.
But it's the same with coaching as well. If I had CSMs and not me, we would have to lower our prices a bit. Yeah. It wouldn't be as valuable.
You'd lose LTV.
And you'd lose LTV. And you'd lose the edge as well, because it's the reason to buy from me and not, let's say, my competitors, is because if you buy from my competitor, you get fobbed off with a CSM. You never see the person at all. You'll get their course. You might get a group program, if 2 hours a week on a group call if you look at it. But you don't get the WhatsApp and anytime one-to-one. With me, you do. If someone works with me, I am on Zoom with them. They've got my WhatsApp that my fucking mum has, or that my girlfriend has. And people become friends as well. When you're talking all the time and you're together for 1 or 2 or 3 months, they become friends. And then they also want to stay. And then they want to see you in person and come to the mastermind. So it's great for fulfillment. It's great for LTV. It's great for the relationship. It's great it's just the best thing ever.
Yeah, amazing. And you've smashed it, man. You're doing great work. And it's going to keep growing from what I see.
We'll see. We'll see. Yeah.
What's next, man, in the coming months? Let's say we're going to speak again in the next couple of months on here. What are you aiming to look at in 2025?
Well, hopefully buy the Bali villa.
I was just going to say that. That's what we're hoping for
next week, which would be fucking awesome. I really hope that it's as nice as we think that it will be, because that's going to be an amazing second home, man. And that'll be my 11th property as well.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. So hopefully buy that.
Yeah.
I don't really have a desire to scale. I just want to optimize for peace, net profit, and that feeling of purpose.
Yeah.
And if I've got those 3 things,
same.
I'm enjoying life and I've got a pretty peaceful mind.
Yeah.
We're very heavily net profit. We're doing well on the net profit.
Yeah.
And I feel good about the work, and it fulfills me, and I feel like I've got purpose, then I'm a happy guy.
I'm exactly the same. You took the words out of my mouth. Well, thank you. What I want to just finish off on is I would say that my audience is Irish. We've less access to the Sam Ovens. Sam Ovens is not a name that's ever mentioned in Ireland. It's not a name at all. Hormozy, maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
What would you say to people who are in Ireland and they're looking to just believe that this is not just a US thing. This is not just if you're Irish, you can make something happen. What would you tell somebody who's not just Irish, but someone who's at home looking at this right now that has a dream? They're looking at videos of you or Eman or whoever else online. What would you say to that person who's just like you, when you were just putting your finger to press that button with Sam Ovens, all your money, by the way? What would you say to someone who's in that position right now and they're just procrastinating and dabbling around with the decision?
I would say there's really 2 steps. Step number 1, you've got to learn first. Watch the YouTube videos, read the books that you can get your hands on, and just soak up the knowledge. But really, you've got to take risk. You've got to take the leap of faith. And if you really want to fast track success, and I'm speaking from experience here, find someone that's done what you want to do, and just pay them to tell you what to do. And if you do that, you are going to catch up to them. You're going to get the same results. So just make sure that you work with someone who has the life that you want, has the business that you want, has the wealth that you want. And if they've got a mastermind, buy it. If they've got a coaching program, buy it. If they've got a course, buy it. Just go and get their knowledge. And then thirdly, bloody implement and do the work.
Just
focus, start, bloody build and get it done.
Exactly. So just like you took a life you have today, you got properties all over the world, millions in cash, millions in investments. You have this life today from actioning some short years back.
Yeah.
And if you didn't take that leap, you would not be here today. You'd be still DJing back in cold in India.
Cold, rainy Manchester.
Yeah. Well, when you told me you were DJing in India last night, I thought you were joking.
I ain't joking, man. I ain't joking.
When you told me you were DJing, a DJ then in India, I thought that you were joking both times.
Nope.
But you switched vehicles and you made it happen.
Yeah.
It's very inspiring, man. So where can people, those who want to keep up with William Brown, where do they go?
Go to the YouTube first, I would say. Go to the Instagram second, and buy a copy of the book as well.
How to Tell Millie. Where can they get that?
Amazon, Audible, if you can deal with my voice for about 6 hours. Jesus.
Do you're doing the audio?
I did do the audio.
I never knew that.
Yeah, you got to
try that today.
Good, get it, man. Yeah, so Amazon for the paperback or hardback, Audible for my voice, read to you, or the ebook or whatever you like.
Yes, Kindle as well, yeah?
Kindle as well.
Yeah. Good stuff, man. Well, thank you for coming on. Very, very inspiring.
Thank you for having me.